Aw. Well, out on a hike, I came across this massive oak branch that toppled in a recent storm. We've had so many storms here in the South Bend, Indiana, southern Michigan, southwest Michigan area, and this big branch came down out of this oak tree. But one thing that I noticed that was really interesting about it is that there are big patches of what looks like blue paint. It's actually a type of fungus known generally as blue stain fungus. There are many different species, but they are all part of the general group of Ascomycota fungi. And the fruiting bodies, which look like often little blue cups, are really rare. You hardly ever see those. But what you do see is the growth inside of a tree branch that just literally looks like blue or blue-green or sometimes even gray paint. They're often associated with the work of bark beetles or other wood-boring insects that tunnel into the wood and then expose the tree to all the spores that might be in the air, but also those beetles will transport the spores throughout other parts of the tree. And that is a common way for blue stain fungus to spread. If those beetles move to another tree, then they can transport that blue stain fungus to another tree. It doesn't only affect oaks. Pine trees sometimes succumb to blue stain fungus. There are some species that kind of grow on dead wood and some that grow on living wood. In the case of living wood, the fungus actually clogs the tubes or the cells known as phloem that carry liquid sap through the tree. And so when those little tubes are clogged in the sapwood, then that ultimately kills or destroys the living tissue of the tree. It will definitely impact the timber or lumber value of a tree, but I have seen home hobbyists produce some really interesting projects using blue stained wood because it has color variations and gives you a little variety. But in many, many cases, it's very, very detrimental to the tree. It is interesting to find, and if you spot it along the trail, it really is an unusual color in the woods. We don't often see blue in the woods, but here it is, blue stain fungus. An interesting feature, not such a happy ending for at least this large branch of the oak. Hopefully the rest of the tree will survive, but I can see up there there's still some blue stain fungus on the existing part of the tree. So we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what happens. Remember, you can find your own outdoor elements when you visit area parks and natural areas. We'll see you soon.